Hello friends, this is Tanay. Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to talk about buying an Android stereo, car stereo. So we will be covering the points what you should be looking on while buying a Android car stereo. And many people change Android stereo because they want to upgrade, or if you are buying a new car with which doesn't comes with a stereo, so like base version, so you also try to upgrade that. And so in this video we will cover 2 points. One is like, should you buy an Android stereo over other brands like Pioneer, Sony? And the second point is, if you're buying Android stereo, what are the points you should consider while buying it, what you should be looking on, and what you can ignore. So we will cover all these points, and by end of this video I feel that you will be able to make a good decision. Let's go. So our first point, whether you should prefer the Android stereos over the Pioneer and Sony. So the answer is that if you are looking for features, if you want more features, then yeah, you can go with Android. But if you are an audiophile, like you love enjoying music and you cannot compromise with your music quality, like not even few percent, then I think Android is not for you. So you can go with Sony or Pioneer, and in 8 inches there are good stuffs available. So in Pioneer you have a tab, and in Sony if you have XAV 8000, so that stereos are pretty good and it does the job. But you have to compromise with the features. The features what I'm talking about is like the offline online videos. So your Android stereo is as good as your mobile. You can watch offline online songs, videos. For example, recently I went to Mekedatu, it's a place near by Bangalore, and when I was coming back there was IPL first match, and then we just put that in our Android stereo and we were watching. So you can watch Hotstar, you can watch you can watch Prime videos, Prime movies, you can watch YouTube, you can do number of stuffs actually. You can play games. So if you're on a good spec Android stereo, so there are many features which comes with Android stereo. So you have to choose from either feature or the quality, and quality is not very much better. It's like if you cannot compromise even 5%, then yes, if you are an audiophile. So now if you have decided to go with Android stereo, so now the question is which one to buy, what are the important features, and which brand should I go with. So let's go point by point, and before starting our points, what I have noted, I would like to tell you an information. All these stereos are imported from China or Taiwan. So the companies in India, they import it from China, put their own seal on it, and they test it, and then they supply it to the customers. So the Android stereo, there are mainly two parts, hardware and software. So it depends on the vendor which the companies in India are going with actually. So the hardware and software, it's a negotiation or deal. It's a deal between them, like okay, providing this hardware or this software. So then a question can arise in your mind, like then if that is the case, can't I just import the stereo from AliExpress or directly from China? So my answer would be, don't do that, because after all ये सब चाइना का माल है. तो आज आपने लिया और कल खराब हो गया, so फिर who will you catch? So there's nobody who can help you out. So definitely buy it with one of the reputed vendors. So now what are the different options available? What are the different brands which I was looking on? Because I bought my Creta recently and I had to wait for like 2 months to get my vehicle. And in between I was checking many brands of Android car stereos, which one should I fit in, and then I come up with few brands like Foxfire, Woodman, Hypersonic, Dapic, Dean, Blaupont, Circuitide, and so on. So there are a lot of varieties, lot of options available in the market, but it depends on you, what is your need, where you want to spend your money. So let's start with the points which I was discussing. The very first point is the music quality. So if you want decent quality from Android stereo, the music quality from Android stereo, so you should be checking for few features like DSP, the equalizer band, the hi-fi, the loud option, the Dolby option. So these are the 5 options you can actually check. The stereo with all these 5 options are, I would say, is the best pick in this particular point. So I would definitely say, many people say that DSP doesn't make much sense, but with my personal experience, I will tell you definitely DSP makes sense. So go with DSP, and if you have loud option where you can actually, when you are traveling with your family or something, you can just switch off that loud option, and the music will be like pretty okay. So it will not be like yo-yo kind of music. So I will suggest you to check for this features like DSP must. The other features like Dolby, Hi-Fi, loud option will be good to have features. Let's go to our next point, which is processor. So talking about processor, nobody knows like what kind of processor they use in the Chinese brand, especially when you take some random Chinese Android. But there are few brands which uses good processors like MediaTek. The Foxfire brand is using MediaTek, which is made in Taiwan, and it's superb processor. The second one is like a Spectrum. The Woodman uses Spectrum, which is after MediaTek, and then comes Cortex A53, and then comes some random processors like D3, I've never heard of it, and so on. So make sure you either take from MediaTek or Spectrum, or you can actually go till A53. Don't take some random process. Also, you need to check on the core. So I would suggest to go with either quad core or octa core. Dual core I will not suggest, because in long run it becomes laggy and you won't like that thing from your Android car stereo. Then comes the RAM. So there are mostly two options available in the market, 2GB and 4GB. So it all depends on your personal needs, how you want to use it. So I think 2GB, 32GB is sufficient. But again, if you want to like download 2-3 music apps, then Amazon Prime, then Hotstar, then there are many applications available on the internet. So it depends on your users. If your users is limited, you can actually go with 32GB. But if you are installing 4GB, then you can actually if you're installing 4GB, then you can go with some launchers. You can play around with the Android stereo. You can install some games for your kids if you have. Sometimes they really get frustrated on a long drive. Then comes the memory. So the options are like 16GB, 32GB and 64GB. So my preference would be 32GB. 64GB is like too much. You don't need that much memory, I think, especially if you have the options of pen drive, 2 pen drives now these days, 2 USB slots. So I think 32GB is sufficient. 16GB, maybe in long term when you have apps and they get updated on regular basis, it could be tricky. So I would suggest to go with 32GB. And also one important thing in processor is like before trusting somebody, like somebody says you like okay 2GB, 32GB, then you can actually test that with a software called as CPU Z. So you have to install that software and see what is written on the paper and how it is like in the stereo. So for example, the Woodman, they sent me 4GB, 32GB thing, but when I downloaded CPU Z, it was 3.6, so that is still okay, not much of a difference, and I think 3.6GB RAM is also sufficient. But the problem arises when you are buying 2GB RAM and they sell you 1GB. When you download CPU Z and you see like it is 1GB, then it will be a disaster. So you can actually check the processor details and RAM details, memory details using CPU Z. So final verdict, my preference would be 4GB, 32GB with quad core at least. You can also go with 232GB based on your needs. So the third thing is like the fit and finish. So always take Android stereos which is specific to your car. Don't take any random stereo or just ship it from AliExpress or something, and then you are searching for the fascia and you get some cheap quality materials. That's not a justice to your car, so don't do that. Then there are some important features like auto dimming. So I think you need auto dimming feature in the car stereo, because sometimes when you're traveling at night, the brightness of the car stereo can actually haunt your eyes. So just go with the Android stereo which has auto dimming feature. It will help. Now another good to have feature is like the mirror link, through which you can share your mobile screen to your car stereo, and this can be wireless. So that is also good to have feature. Some more good to have features would be like the PIP or the split screen. So you can actually split your screen into two parts with one app running on one side and another on another side. So you can watch Google Maps, navigate on one side of the screen and watch YouTube or something or another. So that can be good to have. Another thing is like OBD scanner or the canvas thing. So when you open your door, the screen will show like, okay, your right door has been open or something like that. So not many Android stereo has it. So if you are specifically looking for some stereo with that feature, then check properly. It depends on your car. So if you have that wire which will support canvas or OBD scanner, then you can go for it. Next point is like, make sure your Android stereo is running on Android 8 or above, and that is recommended. Also, there are different sizes of Android stereos. 9 inches, 10 inches, starts from I think 5 or 6 inches. So yeah, there are various options available in the market, and there is also something called as Tesla screen, but I personally don't like that, because in many cars you have to alter the AC vent settings in that. And now comes the reverse parking camera. So many stereos comes with the reverse parking camera. There are two options available, HD and SD. So many companies like Woodman has given me an SD camera. It was not HD, but Foxfire, I heard when I spoke to them, they said they only provide HD cameras. So you can make your decisions on that. Also, some cameras you have moving lines, but again that moving lines of the camera is not with your steering. It's based on your move the car. So sometimes for the new drivers it might be confusing, but it depends on you how you handle it. Now comes the GPS, and every Android stereo comes with a GPS which will tell you your location. And but one thing about GPS, what I will tell you is, don't place your GPS very inside. So try to keep it on the dashboard, or at least on the A pillar, so that the receiver will work perfectly. Also, some Android stereos comes with inbuilt voice commands, so you can give commands to them by speaking something like next music or something. But most of the car stereos are compatible with OK Google, and also you can install Alexa app on the car stereos, and it works perfectly for me. But again, you need to have that much of RAM, so you can play around with it and download any applications available on the internet. Also, the last point is FM radio. So the FM radio works pathetic in Android stereos. So I have not find any stereos for which FM is running very smoothly. So the option is like either you have to buy an FM booster, which is available in the market, or you can actually go with internet. One more problem with the Android stereo, what I read it on the internet, is like sometimes this is only for specific Android stereo, so you make sure you check with the seller. It's like sometimes when you switch off your car, the Android stereo doesn't really switch off. So what happens is like your battery gets drained. So if you have an old car whose battery is not that good, then I have read like for them it was a problem starting the car when they go back to the car after like 6 hours, 7 hours. And so the problem is not with every stereo, but make sure you check this point with your seller, so that if it happens, you will be on a better side. So now the most important part according to me, and that is service. So when you buy an Android stereo, you can buy it from internet, you can buy it over phone, or you can just go to the nearest dealer or seller and you can buy it from there. So service is the most important thing, because if something happens to your Android stereo after a few days, then there should be someone to fix it for you, otherwise it can be a little tricky or your money will be in vain. So make sure when you buy it from outside to a local dealer or seller, you get a proper bill and they assure you a warranty. So my recommendation will be to go to a reputed and responsive seller, which you feel like, okay, he's responding you in a positive way. And if you're buying over internet, make sure you check all their warranty conditions, terms and conditions. In Foxfire, they give you replaceable warranty of 1 year, and they are prompt as well. I can tell you from my personal experience. The Woodman and Hypersonic, they give you repairable warranty. It's not replaceable, but that is also good. At least somebody is there to take care of it when something goes wrong. So make sure you take all these points seriously so that you won't suffer in future in case. So the final thing is what did I choose? So I chose Woodman 4GB 32GB Extreme series, which I find it is very useful. The reason was like I contacted Prince from Hypersonic, and he's super busy, and especially when you are from Bangalore it becomes tricky, because if you are in Delhi there are a lot of local shops which sell Hypersonic and they provide warranty also, but in Bangalore with my experience, when I went and asked about Hypersonic, the dealers don't have this don't have much stock, and they said there are other good things available. But one thing about dealers is like whenever you go to a dealer, whatever Android he has in his stock, he will say this is the best. So don't go with that. Check the opinion, check the reviews on YouTube and other online platforms, Team VHP, and then make your decision. So the second option I looked upon was Foxfire, which is overall a very good stereo with a good processor and other specification. But the problem with Foxfire then was they didn't had 4GB RAM Android stereo. So, and when I inquired about the prices, the 2GB 32GB price was around 19.5 thousand. So I thought if I'm putting just 5k extra, I'm getting double the specs, that is 4GB and 32GB, and that already has all the requirements what I need. So, and also I also inquired Hypersonic for the 4GB model, and the 4GB 64GB model price was around 30,000, which was, in my opinion, it was expensive, so I didn't go with that. Another stereo what I was checking was Blaupunch, which is very famous in Bangalore, especially with the dealers. It's a branded one, but I found that as an expensive one, because 2GB 16GB spec Android car stereo was around 23,000, which is way expensive. So I better preferred the Woodman one, and I'm very happy with my purchase. Especially what I like about Woodman is their support. I remember when I bought the Woodman stereo and the shop guys were fitting in my car, so there was a problem when the wire of the camera, when I put the reverse gear, the camera was not being on, and they were not able to find the exact wire for the camera. So it was close to 10:15 p.m. in the night, and I cannot wait for the next day to. So I pinged them then, and they replied me within few minutes, like 5 or 6 minutes, and the problem was solved. So, and another good thing I like about Woodman is that it is octa-core processor with 1.8 gigahertz of operating frequency. So overall my experience is good. I'll show you a little bit how it looks. Every stereo has their own UI, so maybe I will show you how the UI looks. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you have liked the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. I will be back with another video soon. So keep watching my channel. Be safe, be healthy, and very important, be happy. See you again, guys. It's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the
ये मैं कर लेता हूँ, तब तक आप ड्रीम पर टीम
How is the weather outside?
It's 25 degrees and mostly cloudy in Bengaluru.
Alexa, play me some Bollywood songs.
Here's a station for you, Bollywood Romance, on Amazon Music.